Ma'am, if I could ask you to respond to the Aam Aadmi's points, then I'll take more specific questions to you. Do go ahead.
So I think I heard in great detail what the spokesperson from Aam Aadmi was trying to say, and I said this is exactly what is wrong with the way things are done in India and how we allow such falsehood and deceit to prevail. Now, while she quotes a percentage of farm fires having come, of stubble farming burning coming down, she is not talking about the fact that there was an early harvest this year. So if you see apples to apples figures, she will realize that there was a difference in the drop all over Punjab, Haryana and Delhi and Rajasthan, because there was an early harvest and stubble burning happened earlier. So those days might see a lesser number in terms of percentage compared to last year. But the fact of the matter is that the Supreme Court itself says this, it's just not me, but you know, that 93% of stubble farming is happening in Punjab. That is the primary cause. Vehicular pollution is 17% as a contributor or a pollutant. Where that is concerned, the odd even formula has only led to a 13% decline of the 17%. So, I mean, she's way off her figures. And let me tell you, it is not so complicated. I want to tell you also as an anchor, and I want to tell others, it is not so complicated. The easiest thing to say is, oh, all politicians are like that, there is a lack of political will. There are very clear areas. There are states, there are state environment ministries, there are state pollution boards and a central pollution board. So it's very clear the jurisdiction of various agencies are amply clear. So let's not be nonsensical about it and muddy the waters by saying, oh, what can we do? Give us some more time. It is the same Arvind Kejriwal who used to say, look at what Captain Amrinder of the then Congress party doing now. Well, they have been in power there. And now the Supreme Court has said that you have been totally ineffective. Please don't indulge in this blame game. You have an environment minister, you have a government in power there, you have a government in power here in Delhi and an environment minister. And if you look at cases of stubble burning in one day, let's say 24,000, I can tell you 3 days back, out of 24,000, only, I mean, if you look at the figures, most of the cases and to 80 to 90% are coming in from Punjab. And when you look at Haryana, the figures are so low, and Rajasthan.
Okay.
So it's all very easy to say that, you know, all governments are responsible, we should all. The fact is, and this is where Supreme Court has wrapped the knuckles of Aam Aadmi Party government and said, what on earth are you doing?
They did also wrap the knuckles. They did also wrap the knuckles of the other governments in the area around Delhi.
No,
so
they
for
did not.
Example, they did,
no,
ma'am.
They
call out
did,
Haryana,
but
for example.
I read the entire judgment, and I know how they wrapped the knuckles of Rajasthan and UP, but they spoke mainly about Punjab specifically, and they told Aam Aadmi Party clearly they don't indulge in the blame game. Tell us what, in fact, use police to control stubble farming in Punjab. These are very clear orders by the Supreme Court.
Okay, ma'am, just stay with us for a second. If you stay with us for a second, I'll just come back to you. I do want to go over right now to our last guest who's with us right now. Dr. Sanjeev Agarwal, a former additional director for the Central Pollution Control Board, is also with us. So I want to ask you, when we were speaking earlier to Bharati Chaturvedi, the environmentalist who remains with us right now, we talked about the responsibility, the airshed of sorts that we've talked about, the responsibility of regions around Delhi and what a long-term solution to this looks like. So I'd like you to weigh in here. First, if you could just tell us, in your expertise, what does a long-term solution look like? An open question to you, sir, then we'll come to you with more questions.
Yeah, actually, you see, the central government and the state governments are doing the long-term solutions. But basically, due to 2 reasons mainly in this season, due to the firecracker, the first thing, which gives the peaks of air pollution. Second is the stubble burning. So these 2 peaks are there. Otherwise, the pollution is always there in the whole year, throughout the year. And because of the inversion, more inversion, there the pollutants are dispersion taking place. So now there is no dispersion, and that is why we are facing the problem. Now this challenge we have to take up very seriously. We should not play the blame game. And I think the Supreme Court already ask the firecrackers to not to burn more. I think about 10 p.m. and also
Okay, I think we've lost our connection for a second there with the director. We'll try to re-establish our connection with the director. As we wait for him, we'll go back to Bharti Chaturvedi, the environmentalist who's with us right now. Bharti, can you tell us, because I do want to take this question to the two political representatives who we have with us right now. Can you first tell us, ma'am, what does an airshed solution look like? Because we talked about it right now. We're talking about the coordination that is required between states. What does that actually mean on the ground?
The airshed solution would look like this. We don't, firstly, we don't start blaming Haryana and saying we did this and Haryana didn't. In fact, we should be sharing data. If firecrackers were banned, everyone should have put their hands together and said, what kind of behavior change are we going to do? I would have liked to see, at least as a resident of Delhi and someone who has a little sense of Punjab, but not as much as Delhi, I would have liked to see more leadership talking to us about why we should do it, instead of making it a boring campaign, and sharing those ideas across. I think even if we began with UP and Haryana doing something, with each other, and if Punjab and Delhi were able to make that little bridge, it would really help. But that's not happened. And when I say bridge, I would say, okay, how do you control construction? What are we doing about something as simple as looking at putting money into, say, biomass, because we are underestimating, and iForest has fabulous new data, which is a think tank, looking at how terrible some of these other causes are, which we forget. So it's very important to be able to say, how should we roll out something that is helpful for the citizens? These are our ideas. This is our outreach. Let's do it together. And even though I know not everybody can work with each other, I would have hoped that around Diwali, around construction, around biomass, these would be three things in which Punjab and Delhi actually have a lot of synergy, because there's a lot of construction also in Punjab. It's changing its character. And I would look at perhaps Delhi buying some of these other crops, including millets, for our midday meal scheme, because the Aam Aadmi Party actually has talks about its education plan with a lot of pride. So I would think that why not, cross enable each other and create those markets, make our kids more nutritious while cutting down air pollution and in fact helping them breathe clean air. So these are the kinds of cross-cutting things I would expect. Of course, I would have expected by now fabulous monitoring across Punjab. I know fabulous monitoring is happening in UP. And I would expect something like this, because what you can measure, you can also act on more decisively.
Okay, thank you, Bharti. I'll go back to Dr. Sanjeev Agarwal. He has now been connected with us. Mr. Agarwal, you were also telling us about what a unified airshed approach could look like. Sir, since you have been the Director of Central Pollution Control Board, the additional director rather, I do want to ask you, sir, can you speak to this point of coordination between states, between regions? In your experience, how high did you find it? Did you find that there were lapses there?
Actually, you see, there is an NCAP program, National Clean Air Quality Program, and all the states are supposed to follow that. And we have an implementing agency, monitoring agency, and some more kind of committee is there. So these basically three kinds of committees are there. So they are looking after that this particular problem. Especially for Punjab, I would say that Punjab has to take seriously. It is not a matter of it is basically a matter of life and death, because so many people are this particular season, so many people are dying only because of this reason. So we should stop it, and we should take a long approach, airshed approach, where the pollutants can travel, madam, as Madam told right now, pollutants can travel from Punjab to Delhi. There is no argument. There should not be any argument, and we have agreed. We have a lot of evidence on that. So first thing is that. Second thing, I think whatever the burning is there, that should be immediately stopped. That should be, I think, now completely banned. Still, you can see the pictures. I don't know. I have seen even in the field when I was there quite a lot of
Okay, we've lost our connection. I'm going to wait.